Hello, I'm Lyle Chan. I'm a composer based in Sydney, the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation.
And I'm Chris Sainsbury, and I'm a Darug Eora composer. I live in Canberra at the moment.
Today we're here to introduce a new program from Artology. Artology is going to invite young composers to write musical acknowledgements of country. But to begin, I was wondering, Chris, can you help us understand what is an acknowledgement of country?
So an acknowledgement of country is for anybody to do, not just an Indigenous person, and from a person from any area, and you acknowledge the Indigenous people and their culture of the area where you're living or where you're celebrating a civic event or whatever that particular event is. And it just pays homage to the original inhabitants and their continuing traditions.
It's such a meaningful thing to do in our society that we at Artology thought that perhaps we should just expand it into all kinds of creative ways, because we believe in art and creativity. So imagine if it were a piece of sculpture that acknowledged country, or a poem, or a dance, or a short film. So to kick us off, we thought we'd have a musical program where young composers get to write orchestral acknowledgements of country. These can be fast or slow, joyous or meditative, as long as the intention of the piece of music is to acknowledge country, the country on which the music is performed. Now, Chris himself has written a wonderful piece that was performed by the Queensland Youth Orchestra recently. And Chris, if you can explain to us the work that you gave them to play and the meaning it has.
Yeah, sure. So mine drew upon a tradition, an Indigenous tradition, and I'm a part of Indigenous traditions, so I can actually defer to those. I don't advocate that people draw upon Indigenous music or stories unless they are Indigenous or are in relationship with Indigenous people about that kind of thing. So in writing an original acknowledgement of country, I simply wrote a piece called Two Fires Talking, and there was two different sets of pitch material which were introduced at different times in the piece and then played out in a bit of a dialogue. Effectively that relates to a story of here in the southeast of New South Wales, where one clan would come to another clan's country. Both would sit in silence around a fire, but each would light their own fire and sit in silence around those and begin a dialogue to and fro over about 10 metres space between the two fires. And so the two fires are kind of talking, the two clan groups, the two tribal groups.
If you want to hear Chris's piece, go to the Artology website. In fact, for young composers aged 12 to 23, please go to the Artology website to learn more about how you can submit an orchestral acknowledgement of country. We'll organize for the piece to be performed by youth orchestras around the country, and we hope to hear from you very soon.